welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and I'm here today to do a TBR. As you can see, I have very lofty goals for May. So we'll get right into it because you might say it's exaggerative. I might say I am just ambitious. So the first book, I'm just gonna get it out of the way because I do believe I can finish it before May, but just in case, I do have The Burning God by Rf Quang. It's the last book I want to read for April. I am 158 pages in. If you think I can do it, please keep your commentary to yourself.
I did in fact finish it, bitches.
So there are 3 books here that I don't want to get into because they will be a part of a secret vlog. And if you want to guess what the secret vlog is, I'm basically reading a celebrity's favorite books. If you know anything about me, you know the types of celebrities that I like, usually musicians. He's talented, gifted, brilliant, intelligent. He's a Virgo. So those are the only clues that you're gonna get, and I will be reading these 3 for that video. Okay, now let's get actually into the books that I'm going to read.
I make this mistake every time, but I'm obviously gonna read the previous books too.
So the first book is The Titan's Curse by Riordan. This is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. This series, I feel like I talk about it all the time in every video, but basically Percy Jackson is the son of a god. And one day when he is at school, this kind of revelation of his world comes to fruition, and Percy is kind of tasked with this quest in order to get Zeus's lightning bolt because it's been stolen from him. And obviously because it is a series, things develop from there. I am reading this as a part of the Percy Checks along with my friend Honani over at Honani Reads, and every month that I have this appearing in it, I do leave a link down below to her channel and to the announcement videos so that if you would like to catch up or follow along, you can. And additionally, every month we do reading sprints. I think this month, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this month we're really pushing it till the end, which would be Saturday, May 28th. So that's when we're projecting the reading sprints will be. And then also you can guarantee a vlog from both of us about our experiences with the book. So far, I have been enjoying my time with the book. The last book, if you watched that vlog, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one, so I'm really hoping that The Titan's Curse kind of redeems this series for me, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. The next 3 books are all a part of my 30 before 30 list. So if you saw at the beginning of the year, I did make a huge TBR for the year on the books I need to read before I turn 30. So the first book I would like to get to for that is Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami. This is, I think, Haruki Murakami's most well-known book, and probably the most well-known adaptation of his books is also a movie. What was that sentence? So basically this follows a young man named Toru who is a serious young college student in Tokyo, and he is entirely devoted to Nayoko, who is a beautiful and introspective young woman. But their mutual passion is marked by the tragic death of their best friend years before. As Nayoko retreats further into her own world, Toru finds himself drawn to a fiercely independent and sexually liberated young woman. Haruki Murakami has a relationship with writing women that I sometimes find really uncomfortable. I do like Haruki Murakami's writing. I do like his passion for writing. And if you've read any of his essays on writing and how he thinks about writing, I think he has a really introspective and interesting way to look at writing novels. I just think sometimes his novels tackle subjects that are a little bit out there. And while I appreciate the hustle, sometimes I think they should be kept away from us. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this one. I'm interested to see whether I like it or I hate it for those reasons. After that, we have The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. And this takes place in 1949, where it follows a group of 4 Chinese women who are recent immigrants to San Francisco, and they meet together to enjoy some dim sum and play mahjong. And they are kind of united by this unspeakable loss that they have dealt with, along with hope, and they come together to form the Joy Luck Club. And this was Amy Tan's debut novel, which is great because if I do enjoy it, I know she has an incredible scope of work that I would like to get to. It examines the sometimes painful, often tender, and always deep connection between these 4 women and their American-born daughters. I can't wait to get to this book. If you've been following my channel for a while, you might know that I love generational novels and novels that follow multiple generations of people, and I know that this is kind of hailed as an amazing piece of work in that kind of genre or literary trope. So I'm really interested to get to this, and I will definitely be tackling it this month. And then the beast of the month that I am very scared of is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I know next to nothing about this book, just that it is a biblical kind of retelling. It's a very ambitious novel that is at once a family saga, which I love, and a modern retelling of the book of Genesis. And I also, if you don't know this about me, love biblical retellings. And even though I myself don't practice or follow along with any religion, I think it's really interesting to look at religious texts and look at religious perspectives from a historical and like academic lens to it. So obviously I'm really into that. Set in the rich farmland of California's Salinas Valley, this sprawling and often brutal novel follows the intertwined destinies of two families whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. I am excited to read this book. It's definitely tackling things and elements that I love. I also really enjoy John Steinbeck's writing. I think it's a really ease of using his words in a way that's understandable, and when I go into his works, I'm not reading like what I would call classical jargon, which is where there are like a bunch of words in the text that don't really mean anything, and like multiple words are used to describe like one color, for example. I think John Steinbeck does a great job at like tackling that and making sure that his reads are accessible, and I really appreciate that. But this is a 600-page classic nonetheless, so I'm really hoping that I can read this. And then I'm also really hoping I enjoy it, because nobody wants to go into like a 600-page book that they don't enjoy, right? Obviously. Then I have quite a list of books I would like to read for book clubs. I'm slowly going insane. The first is a mystery novel for Lucy's book club. I don't exactly know what we'll be reading in May.
It was chosen, and it's These Violent Delights by Chloe Gog. Super excited to read this. I've been wanting to read it since it's had its like booktube takeover. It was all the rage a couple years ago. The second book came out, I think, this year or last year, but basically it is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and it takes place in Shanghai. And you know the drill about Romeo and Juliet retellings. The two families hate each other. The two kids fall in love. Very excited to read this.
Then for Sydney and Janelle's book club, the Coffee Break Book Club, they will be reading The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake as one of their selections for the month. They do read two. This is the only one that I am interested in reading. So The Atlas 6 is making its rounds on Book Talk, on BookTube, on Bookstagram, and it seems like everybody is reading this book, so I had to get into it. From what I understand, this follows a group of teenagers, I guess, young adults, who want to be a part of this Alexandrian society. So each decade, only the 6 most uniquely talented magicians are selected to earn a place in the Alexandrian society, which is the foremost secret society in the world. The chosen will secure a life of power and prestige beyond their wildest dreams, but at which cost? So all I know is that it has a really great friend group. It's dark academia, so I'm super looking forward to picking this up. I really do think that I will love this, and I'm really looking forward to it. This was gifted to me by my friend Lucy, so thank you so much, and I'm really excited to pick this up. After that, we have 2 book club selections for Mel Reads' Patreon at the Citadel. So the first pick is they are doing a Throne of Glass read along, and I decided to do my reread of it with them. So this is The Assassin's Blade. This is a like collection of short stories that take place in the world of Throne of Glass and follows Selena Sardothian before she ends up at the events of the first Throne of Glass book. If you don't know what Throne of Glass is, it basically follows this assassin named Selena Sardothian as she is kind of tasked with trying to protect the king. And if she does, honestly, I read that so long ago, like I don't even know. The story changes so much because it's like 7 books, and I almost can't even remember the beginnings of Throne of Glass. So I feel like I'm gonna get a lot out of this reread. If you followed me for this year, you know that I did read House of Sky and Breath in February or March, whichever, and I didn't like it. But what I did like was its connections to other Sarah J. Maas works. And so what I want to do is really read them and like specifically have a tab just for things that I'm noticing are correlating with everything. Because it could be, despite my critiques of Sarah J. Maas, she is a literary genius, and I'm here to discover if that's so. And then the next book club pick is The Sinister Mystery of the Mesmerizing Girl by Theodore Goss. This is the 3rd book and the finale of the Athena Club series. If you've been watching my wrap-ups, you know what the series is about. It follows a girl named Mary Jekyll who upon the disappearance of her father teams up with Sherlock and Watson in order to solve the mystery, and along the way she starts to meet the daughters of other literary figures like Diana Hyde, Catherine Moreau, Justine Frankenstein, that kind of thing. And the story has vastly, greatly, hugely changed from there, but it still captures that like charm and funny element that I love about the series. I'm really excited to see how Theodora Goss ties everything together in such a short book, because the second book was a beast. So I'm excited to see how everything ties up in this one. Last book club pick I would like to get to is Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. This is for the late night book club with Joel, Elias, and Noel. Every month they kind of read a book, and I've kind of fallen off what they were reading because I had read most of the choices that they selected towards the end of last year. But Piranesi is one that I've been really meaning to get to, and I feel like this is the perfect excuse to get into it because everybody has been loving this book, and anybody who has read this book highly recommends it. So I just feel like I need to tackle it. It's kind of short. I think I can squeeze it in, guys. I might have set myself way too lofty goals, but I think I can. Piranesi's house is no ordinary building. Its rooms are infinite, its corridors endless, its walls are lined with thousands upon thousands of statues, and each one different from all the others. Within the labyrinth of halls, an ocean is imprisoned. Waves thunder up staircases, rooms are flooded in an instant. But Piranesi is not afraid. He understands the tides as he understands the pattern of the labyrinth itself. He lives to explore this house. This sounds very much like The Starless Sea, and I love this kind of like whimsical like mystery books, so I'm super keen to pick this one up for sure. May is also Asian Pacific Heritage Month, and every year during this month, Read with Cindy hosts the Asian Readathon, and every year I have participated so far. You may have noticed on this TBR I did have multiple books by Asian authors, but I also have a couple more that I would like to get to and add on. I will leave a link down below to Read with Cindy's channel where she goes into it, but one of the extra challenges of the readathon is to read from multiple Asian authors from different countries. I did want to add 2 more books. So the first of which is Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. Mary H.K. Choi is one of my favorite authors because she wrote one of my favorite books, Emergency Contact. I didn't really like her second book, Permanent Record, I think it was called. But I really think I'm gonna enjoy this one. And all I know about the book is that it follows 2 sisters. And if you didn't know, I am a sister, so stories about sisters touch me. So Jane and June are nothing alike. June is 3 years older, a classic born narc with a vile finance job and a soulless apartment, according to Jane. Jane, on the other hand, is an emotionally stunted, self-obsessed crybaby who lives in a squalor, has an egregious taste in men, and needs to get her ass to class, according to June. So they were once thick as thieves, but these sisters who moved from Seoul to San Antonio and finally New York don't want anything to do with each other anymore until June gets cancer and Jane becomes the only one who can help her. I know that this story is going to destroy me, and I can't wait to read it. And then I would also like to add Girls of Fate and Fury to this TBR by Natasha Nagan. I absolutely loved the first book in this series. The second one definitely felt like a filler book, so I'm really interested to see how she finalized the book and how the plot ends. Super excited for this. This book series takes place in a world where there is like a demon king, so there's different like classes of beings. So there's like the ultimate demons, and they kind of look mostly like human animals, kind of. Then there's the middle class who have like animal traits or characteristics, or they're like weaker animals kind of thing. And then there's the last class, which are the human class. And from the human class, girls are selected to be the king, the demon king's concubines. Lei is selected because she has golden eyes. She ends up being forced to go to the palace to be the king's concubine. Obviously, the story takes off from there. It doesn't stop there. Lei forms a relationship and friendship with the girls, and it's just absolutely beautiful as they like kind of start to plan a revolution, and it's glorious and wonderful. And I can't wait to see how it ends, obviously. And then you would think I'm done, but I'm not. So I have 2 arcs that I would absolutely love to get to. The first of which is a priority because it does come out this month and I have an e-arc for it. And that is Just Like Mother by Ann Helsel. This book is probably one of the creepiest front covers that I have ever seen, and it obviously immediately pulled me in. And why I requested it is because it's basically giving like cult-like vibes. And if you know anything about me, I love cult-like vibes. Not that I necessarily want to join a cult, but I like the idea of reading from a perspective of someone or some people that are in cults. So the last time that Maeve saw her cousin was the night that she escaped the cult that they were raised in. For the past 2 decades, Maeve has worked hard to build a normal life in New York City where she keeps everything and everyone at a safe distance. When Andrea suddenly reappears, Maeve regains the only true friend she's ever had. Soon she begins spending more time at Andrea's like remote estate, so it's better than like obviously her cramped apartment in New York. Andrea has made her fortune in the fertility industry, and the more that Maeve immerses herself in Andrea's world, the more disconnected she feels from her life back at the city. I don't need to know more than that. It's definitely giving me like spooky vibes. It's definitely giving me like cult vibes, and I am 100% here for it. I can't wait to read it. It is my #1 priority for arcs this month. If I have time and I can manage to squeeze in one more book. I will be squeezing in Cafe con Lichi by Emery Lee. This was gifted to me by HCC Frenzy as an advanced reader copy, so thank you so much. It does come out May 22nd. So the way that this book is described is as an enemies to lovers. So Theo Mori hates Gabriel Moreno. Owning the only 2 ethnic cafes in their small Vermont town, their families are long-standing competitors. Not to mention that Gabby's lost the varsity soccer team one too many times to count. Meanwhile, Gabby Moreno is miserably stuck in the closet, and Theo, the only openly gay guy at the school, has it in for him. But when a new fusion cafe puts the guys and their plans for the future in danger, it makes sense to work together, right? They definitely won't find themselves falling for each other. Perfection. I can't wait to read some queer lit. I'm very excited and hopefully can pick this up.
Hello, you're getting editing me again. New top. I've edited this over the course of 3 days. So the thing is that after recording this and through the process of editing, I realized that the May the Force Be With You readathon, Star Wars readathon, was happening in May. And this is hosted by Break Even Books, so I will leave a link down below to his channel. But there are a bunch of prompts, and I'm just going to say them now because they fit with majority of the books that I'm reading. So you can pick between the light side, the neutral party, or the dark side. And if you know me at all, I very much navigate towards dark things. I like dark things, so I will definitely be on the dark side. So on the dark side, we have the first prompt, which is lightning. So a book that you think will shock you. The only book that I can see myself either liking or hating, and either way it will shock me, is Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, just because the synopsis scares me a little bit. So I think that this one can go either way. It will shock me, I think, more if I end up liking it. Then the next prompt is Seduction. So that's a book with a pretty cover. I think a lot of the books on my TBR can go for that. So any of them work. And then the next one is Force Fear. So that's a horror or thriller book, and I'll be using Just Like Mother for that. I'm currently reading it as I'm editing this. Definitely like a horror thrillery vibe. Then we have Corruption. So that's start a series. So I can definitely do these Violent Delights. I can also do the Atlas 6 because this is a start of a series as well. So either one of those works for that. And then the next prompt is Mind Control. So pets or people choose the book for you. What I might do is do a poll on Instagram, make my boyfriend pick something, like I give him a little bit of options, that kind of thing. We'll see what happens. But that's definitely like any book could fit for that. Then you have the weapons. So the weapon I chose to go with is lightsaber, obviously. A book with your favorite color as the main color on the cover. And my favorite color is purple. So I could go with the Assassin's Blade, the Sinister Mystery of the Mesmerizing Girl. It's not really purple, but it's like a purpley red. And this one is definitely like more purple. And then you have like your partners. So obviously I went with Accomplices, which is the Dark Side's partners. So the first prompt is Galactic Empire, a book that intimidates you. And definitely East of Eden intimidates me because it's a ginormous classic. And then the last prompt is a First Order, a book with a captivating first sentence. I think I'm just gonna count whatever book I have that has the most captivating first sentence. Despite being incredibly ambitious, I'm very realistic that I might not read all these books. So whichever one fits into that, I'm going to pick. Okay, back to the video.
So I'm not even gonna attempt to hold up the books. Should I attempt? Okay, let's attempt. Hardcovers at the bottom. Oh gosh, oh gosh. I think this is a really ambitious TBR. I'm just gonna place it on top of my desk, and hopefully I don't ruin anything or break my computers. So that is it. That is my overly ambitious TBR. First of all, in the comments, do you think I can read all of these? I think so. I would like a vote of confidence, but I know realistically I might not get to 1 or 2. Secondly, if you have read any of these books, please let me know down below in the comments if you liked them, if you hated them, just so I can gauge like which ones I'm kind of gonna expect to like or not like. But that is finally it for today. If you would like to follow me on any of my other social medias, I do leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell because it does wonders for my channel and it makes me feel really good. But that's it. I don't know how to end these things. I gotta get back to work, so I will see you next time. Bye!